To review the Jetpack video player module. The video player module is a hosted module to allow you to upload video of any aspect ratio into the Jetpack platform and utilize in your ad units. I'm going to start by just placing a background on the stage so we have something to look at, and that's going to be called that. Next thing I'm going to do is upload a video file and a thumbnail. The video file has already been encoded to 370 by 250 and properly cropped and resized. This file is about 3.5 megabytes for a 15-second video. So it's a little bit on the large size. We didn't overly compress it. So now the video has been uploaded. You'll see here HTML5 encoding. What we're doing is on the back end doing transcoding for different devices, different browsers, sorry. The next thing you can do when you upload a video into Jetpack after the video has been uploaded is click this mobile phone icon. What that allows you to do is encode for mobile autoplay. So at this point, we maybe there's a breakpoint where this uses mobile autoplay or something like that. If you did have that, what you would do is encode this file right here. You can select a width and a height, frames per second, and a quality. So I'll just do that so you can see what happens. What it does here is says creating mobile files. Next thing we have, so that's done. Mobile files are ready, and if you save and refresh this, you will see the file size for that ad unit. So you see the file size right here, 2.66 megabytes. The original was 3.3. Next thing we're going to do is put the video on the stage. There's multiple ways to put a video player module onto your ad unit. The first one would be double-clicking the module here in the module list. Another way would be dragging this to the stage here. That's what we're going to do. And what happens is it says, what would you like to call this? Call it video player. And save. Now it has an arbitrary size of 400 by 225, 16:9 ratio. However, our video is not that size. What will happen is when I associate this video to the video player will automatically resize. So I can associate either by selecting video player in the elements up here, which highlights it over here, main video 1. That's our default video. And I'm going to click the pencil icon. It will load the overlay with assets in it. I can double click on the asset I want to associate, pastel 370 by 250. The other way to associate is to click on your video player, and you have your thumbnails here. These thumbnails already have a play button on them. I'm going to double click that, and it pops an overlay with all available assets that can be associated. And say that's my thumbnail, and double click again, that's my thumbnail rollover state. Now I can resize this entire piece of video, the video player, dynamically, and everything will scale proportionately. I just noticed this unit has a border on it, so I'm going to make the height of my video 248 and set the top position to 1 and the right position to 1. So that'll give me that 1 pixel border around the entire unit. Okay, so here's my video player, and I have over here on the left certain properties. We just established the width and height as well as the assets. Now the next row is behavior. The behavior of the video player establishes how the unit will behave on the screen. I can autoplay the video. That sounds good. I can start muted. That also sounds good. You can use streaming. If you use streaming, you might want to use auto bitrate, and that will also allow you to set an initial bitrate. When you use streaming, we use our dynamic streaming on the back end to choose different bit rates, 2000, 1200, 700, and 400 kilobits per second. Now, 400 and 700 are sometimes considered a little low. So you might want to force a minimum bit rate of 1200. That way you don't ever get that kind of pixelation at the beginning of the video. Now there's other settings. auto hide controls, what that will do is hide the controls until you mouse over the unit. So I'm going to save the unit and hit Command O to open in a new window, and you'll see the video start to play with the player controls right here on the screen. At the end of the video, you'll see the thumbnail. Jetpack has a shortcut. You hit the letter Z and it will jump to the end of the video. So it really helps in the QA process to do that. Play, great. There's our video and the play button works. Close that, go back to my unit in the workshop, and I'm going to show you one other feature, hide control bar. That completely hides the control bar. Save, Command O. Here's the unit, and the control bar never appears. So we have the video playing and the thumbnail. Click to play. Again, no controls whatsoever. So another thing you might want to do is add a mute-unmute button. You know, if you're not using the player controls, that's very helpful, unless you don't want to ever hear the audio. I'm going to drag a button to the stage and let go. That gives me this dialog window, and I'm going to say this is an audio button. That title's arbitrary. But here in actions, there are preset actions. I'm going to choose mute, unmute video, and save. What that does is pre-populate the mute and unmute button, a default button from Jetpack. You can certainly override this right here with default image. You'll see if I double click, once that's selected, muted and unmuted are right here. And you can override the images with something else. Okay, but what we have is our button. I can place it anywhere. I'll place it here on the upper right-hand corner and save. Open. And here we have this, and you can't really hear it, but there we go. You can mute and unmute the video. Last thing you might want to do is build an action to hide that button after you're done when the thumbnail appears, so that you don't have the mute, unmute, and maybe the player controls appear. Many people, when building the units, actually separate the thumbnail into a separate button so they can control the video player a little more and remove the video player from the stage when they are not using the video player, so that there's a thumbnail and you can do everything through the actions panel, which is covered in another video. So that's the general gist on the basic video player. You'll see another one of these. I'm going to delete that and delete the audio button. Another feature that we have is to embed a YouTube video, or in more modules, there are some other video options, Ooyala and Limelight. Quickly, I'm going to add a YouTube player to the stage, and you'll see it pre-populates with another YouTube player with a YouTube video, and you can play this right here in line. And the similar controls are over here. Here's for a YouTube ID to override the one that's preset there for Jetpack. And you can hide related, that's at the end of the video, those related videos. It shows auto hide controls similar to Jetpack. It'll it'll only show up when you roll over the unit. Autoplay, start muted. Okay.